Well, are you ready for the top 5 movies of 1990?
Yes.
Don't sound too excited.
Yes. A little more enthusiastic.
We're in the 90s, baby. Which could be.
How many of these shows have we done so far?
I think this is about to be episode 43 now.
43, my God.
Crazy. Which is, oh, wow. That's weird. I turn 43 next in 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But, and you turn 73 tomorrow.
Yes, I know. God.
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you coming up.
Thank you. Tauruses unite. So who wants to go first?
I don't remember who went first last time.
Me either.
Huh?
Me either. Here, I'll go first then.
All right.
My number 5 is Awakenings.
Yes, you did that in, I think, the 80s movie.
Yeah, or maybe it was like the Robin Williams top 5. I don't remember, but
yeah, it could have been. It was like a sleeper movie.
Yeah, so much so that I hadn't even seen it until a couple years ago. But yeah, great performances by Robin Williams and Robert De Niro, of course, who plays this catatonic guy that had been asleep for many years, and then Robin Williams helps to awaken him. And the movie has a lot of heart, but it has some good funny moments too, like with some of the other people in the hospital. But Williams surprisingly plays it pretty straight. Like most of the comedy is not from him.
Yeah, there wasn't like any ad-libbing type things in it.
Right. Yeah, yeah. But De Niro is, amazing, of course, as the guy who's like reawakening himself as an adult. But yeah, that's my number 5.
Very good.
What about you?
My number 5, and we've talked about this one too.
Yeah.
It was probably Sean Connery or the 80s. I can't remember which.
Yeah.
The Hunt for Red October.
Ah, yep. Yeah, you mentioned on the Connery. Yep.
And, based on a Tom Clancy book by the same name.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the Russian submarine commander, who was Sean Connery, is trying to defect.
Right.
And Jack Ryan.
Yep. And he's played by Alec Baldwin in this one.
Yeah. The only time he played it. I basically liked all the Tom Clancy movies. So this was the first one. And the only one that Baldwin played in.
Right.
And so it's their most advanced Russian submarine.
Right.
And the Russian commander and all his officers wanted to defect. So they got 2 problems. One is, how can they defect and do it without the Russian guy that reports back to the Kremlin and the crew, and without starting a war.
Yeah.
Because it looked like that he was going to start a war. So Jack Ryan, Alec Baldwin, is picking up on the subtleties that the commander is doing.
Yeah.
So he decides that he's trying to defect. And now on the American side, they're trying to figure out a way to get him to defect. So it's like really good story, a lot of like little twists and turns.
Yeah. Yeah. Good submarine movie.
Yeah.
So,
as usual, Connery was great in it. Sam Neill was in it as his executive officer.
Right. Yeah.
From Jurassic Park fame.
Yep. Yeah. Good pick. Okay. Cool. Well, my number 4 is a sequel, and it is Die Hard 2.
Okay.
I'm guessing this didn't make your list.
No, Die Hard 2 did make my list. Uh, I don't think it's as good as the first one.
No.
It's definitely better than the third one and the fourth one and the
Yeah.
fifth one and the
Right.
sixth one.
Yes, definitely. But yeah, I mean it's got, it's essentially the same thing happening to the same guy twice, as
Yeah,
Bruce
right.
Willis says in the movie.
The stupid, obnoxious, unfeeling reporter.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's still in it. He's in this one, he's on the plane with Bruce Willis's wife.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a fun little thing where, she shocks him in the bathroom with the thing.
Right. And most of it takes place in an airport.
Right. Which watching this, like, I hadn't seen it in a long time. I remember watching it after 9/11 happened and being like, whoa, that was pretty heavy. But when they blew up the plane and whatnot. But yeah, the villains were pretty good. It definitely, they're no Hans Gruber though. That's the thing. And
And there's
yeah,
no Twinkies.
right. Yeah. Reginald Vell Johnson just shows up for like a minute to
Yeah,
help him
so-
fax something.
Yeah, I think it missed more of the comedy type things,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
in the first one.
Right. Yeah. This one had, I guess, they were shooting for more of the action stuff, like when he ejects himself out of the plane and it explodes.
Yeah,
And then, at the end when he blows up another plane to make a runway for the other planes. But yeah, it's
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of ridiculous.
There was no Hans Gruber.
Right. Yeah.
It was like, okay, it was mainly Bruce Willis.
Right. But still, yeah, the charm of Bruce Willis carries it, and I'm sticking by it. So what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Dances with Wolves.
Ah, good pick. Yeah.
Yeah, Kevin Costner movie. Mary McDonald is in it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so basically a Civil War story in the West and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's like
Directed by Costner too.
Yeah.
Which I think he won like all the awards that year, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, it was a good year for Dances with Wolves.
Yeah.
It was also a friggin' long movie.
It was long. That's why I didn't put it on my list, but I do like it though. It's one of those that when you go back you realize, oh yeah, this has a lot of good stuff in it.
Yeah, spoiler alert, if we ever do the 3-hour movie thing, top 5.
Yeah.
Probably be
That's right. Yeah, it is over 3 hours, right? Or it's got to be close.
Actually, by 1 minute. 181 minutes.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, but I love, what I really like about the story is, when he's in the beginning, when he's going out, and he meets the wolf, of course, and then he's kind of doing this dance with the Indians, kind of like where they don't even know what each other is saying, but they're sharing food and stuff, and just getting to know each other. It's cool.
Yeah, and by the end, he's more friends with the Indians than he's with the U.S. Army.
Right.
Yeah.
A little similar to which obviously they ripped off Dances with Wolves, but The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Kind of that same kind of situation.
Yeah.
But
you get to basically, it's like getting to understand the other side.
Right. Yeah.
The only way to do it is like, to spend some time with them. You
Right.
can't do it over, a table,
Hmm.
trying to set up a treaty or something.
Right. Exactly. Yep. Very good. Good pick. All right. So my number three may or may not be on your list because I think I remember you saying you're not crazy about this one, but I put Ghost as number three.
Yeah, that one did not make my list either.
Didn't the ghost didn't make it, as Katya calls it. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's directed
Patrick
by
Swayze.
the Zucker guys who did Airplane, which is surprising. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically
it definitely wasn't as funny as Airplane.
no, no, nor did it should it have been, I don't think. It was more of a romantic drama, I suppose. But
Yeah,
Whoopi Goldberg did bring in a lot of comedy into the movie.
yeah, I
Her
guess this
character.
was supposed to be Swayze's first big movie,
Right.
other than
Dirty Dancing
Dirty
after that.
Dancing. And then I think, did you have one in between? It was called Roadhouse.
Yeah, Roadhouse, right.
Yeah, right, which didn't do well at all.
No, no, not really. But this one definitely did. And yeah, Demi Moore, of course, was a big part of that too. But yeah, it was I liked how they dealt with um the afterlife and how, the demons would come to get the bad people as when they died. It was kind of like a simplified thing, really, but it was cool how he kind of learns how to communicate with Demi Moore through Whoopi Goldberg, and then also that weird looking guy on the subway teaching him how to like move things and and all that. So whenever it comes on, I always watch it. So
Yeah, but it was a decent movie. It wasn't
yeah,
something that was like really horrible. It
well,
was
I'm
it was
glad.
it was just an okay movie.
Okay, okay, I'll give you that. So what's your three?
My three, and I'm pretty sure it'll be on both our lists. I just have it down further. Misery.
Ah, that was my honorable mention.
So that was your honorable mention. Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, James Caan, Kathy Bates,
yep.
based on a Stephen King novel by the same name.
Mm-hmm.
A more of a psychological thriller than a real like type horror movie. I mean, there's a lot of
Well, I don't
horror.
know. There's
There's
that
horror.
one scene that'll
Yeah,
freak
I'm
you out.
talking about like ghosts and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. But I
And,
don't know, man. That one
and
scene
zombies.
is like that's pretty messed up when she
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah.
yeah,
Bates was pretty messed up. Actually, she got the Best Actress award for this
that's
uh,
right.
that year too, also at the Academy Awards.
Yeah, she was great. I mean, she played the crazed fan very well.
Yeah, and
And
this was directed by Rob Reiner.
right.
So this is a little, you know, off from
Hmm.
Rob Reiner's earlier movies.
Right. Yeah, but he did great. I mean, and it definitely keeps you on your toes the whole time, especially towards the end when, he's crawling around and trying to find ways to escape. And then, the old police officer guy comes by to check on him and all that. I mean, you're
Yeah, he
always
gets blown away.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
The,
Crazy
the
movie.
typewriter at the end.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it was like it was almost like poetic justice with the, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, basically, he was a writer and he wrote the story
Hmm.
Misery, and Bates was a big fan of his.
Right.
So he had this automobile accident. That's
Hmm.
how he wound up, with her. So she's like nursing him back to
Yeah.
health until she read the book, and then she didn't like it.
Yeah. But then she didn't want him to leave, essentially,
Yeah, that's
ever.
right.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
and
creepy
then
things
and
ensue.
all the problems began.
Right. Well, yeah, that's a really good one. I did think about putting it on, but I chose not to. So I think our 2 and 1 may end up being the same. We'll have to see. But my number 2 is Home Alone.
Really?
Yeah. Is that one on
No,
your list?
that's not on my list.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Because it's a Christmas movie, you decided not to?
That was one of the reasons, yeah.
Oh man. Well, yeah, I mean, obviously one of the best Christmas movies of all time. I think it made our combined top 5. And yeah, the great Macaulay Culkin with Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as the wet bandits trying to get him. I mean, everybody knows this one, but come on. The kid is home alone, and especially as a kid watching this movie, I just remember how cool it was, how he
Yeah.
gets the bad
I mean,
guys.
it had a lot of good moments. I
Yes,
mean, as a Christmas movie, it's one of the top Christmas movies.
for sure. And then you know, the whole thing with him fooling the pizza guy with that VHS movie with the the guy it's some kind of mafia movie. So, and then of course he uses that on Pesci as well. And yeah, everything, all the little things too, like John Candy popping up to help the mother get back and all that kind of stuff. um I'm surprised that you didn't put it, so now I want to know what your number 2 is.
My number 2 is an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, Total
uh,
Recall.
oh wow, Total Recall, that high?
Yeah,
That's surprising.
it was one of the top grossers
Yeah,
uh, of the year and stuff like that. And there was a later, uh, another Total Recall that was
like a
made like, I don't
remake.
know,
Yeah,
yeah, maybe 20 years later or something like that.
right.
Yeah, that would probably put it about right, 15 years or 20 years.
I haven't seen it in a long time. When have you seen it recently?
No, I haven't seen it recently. So it's
Okay.
been a while since I saw it too. But
Yeah.
there was a lot of, you know, still a lot of intrigue in it. This guy is having like images of being on Mars and stuff like that.
Right.
So he's married to Sharon Stone.
Right.
And so he decides to go to a recall place, you know, where they implant like images of your thing,
Hmm.
of where you want to go. So of course he picks, you know, a vacation on Mars, right?
Right.
And then the implant fails
Yep.
because he already has an implant.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then it turns out he's leading this alternate life
Right,
that he
yeah.
didn't
And
know about.
Sharon Stone is not really his wife, but
Yeah.
she's like trying to keep an eye on him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now he
Right.
really wants to get to Mars. And actually, uh, he had a video of himself telling him, you know,
Yeah.
what to do. One of the best parts of the scene was where he's taking that thing out of his nose.
Oh yeah, right, exactly. Oh, and then I love like one of the classic Arnold lines where he says, "Get your ass to Mars." One as he says to himself. And then of course you had one of the great bad guys of the late 80s, early 90s, Michael Ironside, always chasing him around.
Yeah,
And there was a lot of good death scenes. It gets a
yeah,
little crazy toward the end, I remember.
yeah. Yeah, like
But
weird mutations on
yeah,
Mars and stuff like that in that
right.
outside village. And the
Yeah,
whole thing was about air,
right,
you know, the
right.
air quality and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. For anyone who's looking to move to Mars in the near future,
Right.
watch Total Recall and you may change your mind.
And one of the things, you know, that I remember from the thing, and at the time it was like a future thing. When he's going through the airport, they have the machine where
Yeah,
they can see, you know,
Oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah, they didn't have those then, and
that's right. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
now they do.
Yep, one of those
Yeah,
futuristic things that come
yeah,
true.
that came true. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty cool. Yeah, yeah. I need to rewatch that one for sure. That
yeah,
and they had those self-driving taxis, the Johnny Cab. Remember
yeah, yeah,
that? So yeah, some of that stuff probably still yet to become true, but
yeah.
you
It will
never
get
know.
to become true too. So it's it's futuristic,
Yeah,
but had a lot of things now. All of a sudden, we got again.
yeah,
Just like Star Trek.
yeah. Right. True. Okay, well, good pick. So our number one, I'm sure, is the same. That's got to be. So 1, 2, 3,
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh man.
without a doubt, the best movie of 1990.
Yeah, and I would say, well, we did say the best Scorsese movie.
Yeah,
Uh, Arguably the best mafia movie, like even competing against The Godfather. That's a tough one because they're so different in tone.
yeah, and again, Pesci's got his gutter mouth, always
Yeah.
effing this and effing that.
Yeah. So, oh man, he was amazing. I think he won Best Supporting Actor for this. What a year
Yeah,
for Pesci when you throw Home Alone on the side. I mean, this was a huge breakthrough for him.
yeah. Well,
And
Home Alone is getting beat up by a kid. So,
yeah, the total opposite. But
yeah,
yeah, Ray Liotta was great as the main leading
yeah,
role as well, playing Henry Hill. And then
right,
De Niro, of course, doing his thing as he played Jimmy, whatever his name is.
yeah.
But yeah, Paul Sorvino as like the mob boss.
I know. And then there
Everybody's
was like,
great.
yeah, there's some racial stuff
Mm,
between Jews and Italians.
right.
Like when Pesci's trying to go out with
Oh,
this
right.
Jewish girl,
Right.
and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't want to go out with you because we don't like Italians. And he's going,
Yeah. Yeah.
actually, it's a Jewish girl. It
So
gets-
ridiculous, man. Yeah, all the side dialogue is hilarious.
I
And
know.
just the way it's filmed, I mean, it's crazy. How I love the narration is so well done because like when like in the beginning when his father is beating him with his belt or something, and then it like pauses and then he
Yeah,
says everybody needs to get a beating sometimes or something like that. And
yeah.
then it just keeps going.
So to preface the whole thing, I mean, it's a story of Henry Hill
Right.
and his life with the mob and stuff like that.
True
So it's like
story. Yeah.
all these, uh, you know, incidents that's going on in between. I
Right.
mean, there's a scene with Pesci too, and I don't even know if I'll have the dialogue right or not, but he comes in to pick this guy up, and
Yeah.
there was supposed to be a meeting, and the meeting was at 8:30 or something like that, and Pesci wakes him up, and he goes, you're late for the meeting. He goes, well, what time is the meeting? 11:30.
Yeah.
And and he goes, no, it was eight. The meeting was at 8:30. He goes, now it's 11:30, right? And
Yeah.
then he goes, he goes, you're late for your own funeral, and then he shoots him.
Yeah. And that
The whole thing is they were
was
gonna
Samuel
kill
Jackson. You know that,
him.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The whole thing is they were gonna kill him, and he
Yeah.
was late for his own killing. So
Exactly.
it was funny.
Yeah. And then
It's
there's
probably
of
better
course,
to watch the movie than the way I said it.
yeah, well, there's so many classic scenes, mostly with Pesci, but yeah, like you think I'm funny? How am I funny? Funny
Funny, yeah,
how?
right.
Am I here to amuse you? That whole thing.
I
Uh
know. It just. I mean, it looks like, and it probably was, that a lot of these lines were ad-libbed.
yeah. Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think actually that scene particularly was, and then they kind of enhanced it or whatever. But
yeah. I mean,
yeah,
to me, it wasn't like written
yeah,
on script. A
yeah,
lot of this stuff just seemed like too
Right.
natural the way that they were going back and forth.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so great. So clearly that's our combined number one. So this is interesting. As we were just talking, I looked and saw that Total Recall is a 3.7 and Home Alone is also a 3.7. So how are we going to decide which one's better? Should we flip a coin?
I have to go to IMDb
Yeah, that's true.
for the tiebreaker. This is the
IMDb.
first.
Yeah, I haven't gone on IMDb in a long time. Let's see. That'll be funny if they're the same on there too.
I know.
Total Recall. Okay. It says 7.5, of course, out of 10.
Right.
And Home Alone. I thought I was going to be prepared. 7.6. Yes. Okay.
1/10 of a point.
So Home Alone at 2, Total Recall at 3. So now the 4 and 5 spots are between Misery and Ghost.
Well, I think
So
you have
let's
to
see.
do Misery because it's also your honorable mention.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So Dances with Wolves, the Academy Award winner, doesn't make it. So what was your honorable mention?
My honorable mention was one that we watched together.
Yeah.
Tremors.
I thought about putting that as my honorable mention too.
Yeah.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Kevin Bacon and
but these sandworms, huge.
right.
I don't know where the place was in New Mexico or something like that.
Yeah, out in the desert, and yeah, it gets so ridiculous toward the end.
You never know when they're gonna pop up and stuff.
Right, but they can feel when somebody's walking on the ground.
Yeah, the body can hear it and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that couple played by the dad from Family Ties, and I think it's Reba McEntire or something, and they have this arsenal of like machine guns and stuff. It's so ridiculous. I think didn't they make a sequel too? I think
there was a couple of sequels actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a few.
Yeah, but that was
one of the ones where they just kept running it up.
Yeah.
I don't know offhand, but I think there might have been like 5 of them.
Right. Yeah. Ridiculous.
I mean, you just lost interest after the first one because the first one was kind of unique.
Right.
Yeah, and Kevin Bacon was in it. Yeah. So.
Yeah. It was a fun movie. Okay. Cool. Well, let's read off the official list. The top 5 best movies of 1990. At number 5, Ghost. At number 4, Misery. At number 3, Total Recall. At number 2, Home Alone. And at number 1, Goodfellas. Yeah.
Yeah. You stuck another Christmas movie in it.
Yes. Well, from here, I think, I don't know, like, yeah, late 88 through 90 was like this magical Christmas time of movies. So from here on out, I think I can promise no more Christmas movies for a while.
You sure?
On my list. I'm pretty sure.
One was Shoot Your Eyes Out. Did we do that?
Oh, that was in 83, yeah. So yeah, I think we should be good with Christmas from here on out. Bah humbug.
Okay. That's right. Bah humbug on Christmas movies.
Yeah.
And our top 5.
Yes. So we'll be taking next week off, but come back in 2 weeks. We'll have top 5 of 1991. I'll see you there. All right.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you too.
All right. Bye.